Hi, my name is Anne Marie Pryke, and I am your host for today's Second Act Living podcast. This is a place where people in the second act of their life can come together to talk, laugh, pray about whatever this stage of life has to throw at you. So please help me welcome today's guest, Deborah Horatio. She is a blessed to be a mom of 22-year-old quadruplets, who are now in university, married 31 years to Peter. Deborah's faith has been formed in the trenches of life, no doubt. After homeschooling their 4 children with neurodiversities resulting from their critical illness, which led them on a faith journey that left her forever changed, Deborah returned to work. Throughout her life, she has worked, served, and led through different seasons, always doing whatever it took to partner with her husband to move their family forward and remain on mission. However, recently, God made it clear to her that it was time to take a rest and explore a new vocational direction, which has led her to a new season of discovery as she trusts God's for next step. She is passionate about inspiring women to dig deeper, to find the love of a God who is bigger than whatever they are facing, and why faith matters and how the Bible is relevant in real life. Currently, Deborah has just finished working in development for a nonprofit and serves her local church board. This past year, she initiated and led a weekly women's ministry called The Well, where women gather as a loving, multi-generational community who practice hospitality and fellowship while learning and growing deeper in faith and empowered to go out in hope. Deborah loves to connect with women, whether it's in learning together, speaking in a group setting, or simply chatting over a cup of coffee. So thank you so much, Deborah, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
It's a
this is a
joy to be
pleasure.
here.
And I love how coaching for me has expanded my reach and meeting new people. I met you through a friend that I met in coaching classes, and we barter coached together, and now we couples barter coach together. Anyway, so coaching has expanded my expanded my horizon, expanded my reach. So it's actually been really cool. So, and you live in Canada, so you're 3 hours behind me, right?
That's
Yes.
correct. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So before we hop into the interview, I always like to start with rapid fire questions. So are you ready?
I'm ready as I'm going to be.
Okay. And they all have something to do with midlife, all of them.
Perfect.
So when going on a date with your hubby, do you choose a romantic candlelit dinner or Netflix and pizza?
Mm. Maybe Netflix and Chinese food, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your go-to Chinese food?
Oh, he loves ginger beef and I love prawns. And
Okay.
then we meet in the middle with chicken chow mein.
Chicken. Excellent. When going on a trip, do you pack your whole closet or do you travel light?
Oh, I'm not known to travel light.
I'm not
There's
either.
too many possibilities.
Right. And who knows what kind of mood you're going to be in from day to day.
Right? And the weather.
And the
So,
weather. Yes, of course.
yeah.
Where are you finding joy in midlife?
Oh, wow. Just really in the community of this season. Like, there's so many of my friends who are also walking through this. And so, we're all parenting young adults together. We're all in different schedules and rhythms in our marriages and the joy that that brings, and just figuring out how we can show up for each other and in
Nice.
this world and in church and our community. So yeah, so it's just the joy of connecting with others in this season too.
That's sweet. What has been your favorite vacation?
Oh, well, um, the ones together with the family are always just the best. They're never perfect and they're always just, yeah, like camping for us, used to be such, we don't camp anymore, but, um, just, great time for unplugged and connection and sitting on the beach and just eating good food around the campfire and doing that kind of thing. So, yeah.
What is your bucket list vacation?
Oh, well, I feel like we already did that years ago before kids. We had the opportunity to go to the Cook Islands and we were there for 2 weeks and it was just spectacular. Like I am a beach girl. I am not a climb the mountain girl. And so but I also really love history and art and things like that. So I would love to go to Paris to the Louvre and Venice. I have been to Rome, and that was just spectacular to see. I would love to go to some of the Bible places,
Mhm.
and just yeah, uh, just kind of blows your mind that you can walk in the same places that those great people walked.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. What is one new skill or hobby you have wanted to learn?
Oh, painting. I I really yeah, I'm not good at painting, but I like to paint sometimes and just yeah, get out different kinds of paints and just yeah, but I really like to actually learn like the proper way to paint.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Um, what is one way you stay connected with your kids?
Mm. Oh, well, we FaceTime quite a bit. We
Sure.
also have a group chat
Mhm.
that is really helpful because they're kind of all in different places now. So yeah, so those are good ways for us to stay connected very
Mhm.
regularly, several times a week usually.
Gotta love those group chats for sure.
I know.
Yeah. Um, what is your go-to stress reliever?
Mm, my go-to stress reliever's gotta be just time sitting with the Bible and my journal and just in quiet. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. So I don't know if this one applies. So if it doesn't, you don't have to answer. But what's worse, hot flashes or forgetting why you walked into a room?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. Walking into the room with a hot flash is even worse.
Double whammy. Yeah. Mhm.
Especially if
Yeah.
there's other people in it.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, but I do find like, yeah, I do find just forgetting things. Starting a conversation and not really remembering
Where
what the
it's going.
initial question is. So hopefully I'll be able to stay on track today.
Oh, that's funny. We'll figure it out together.
Sounds
Um,
good.
so last one. What is one piece of advice you would give your 20 something self?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. Um, buckle up. It's gonna be quite a ride. Yeah,
For sure. I mean, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, but Jesus will be with
Buckle up.
you. So, yeah, yeah, buckle up.
Funny.
Yeah.
So the most common answer for that question is um it's not that deep. Like you don't have to work so hard. Like that's the most common answer. You don't have to do so much. Um, but I like yours because it's I like your answer. That's a good one.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Um so I really enjoyed our time together in our pre-interview, just kind of getting to know you, kind of getting to know your story. Your story is just so rich.
Mhm,
Um and just decades worth of hard and good, of reliance and capability, of all of the things, right? So and I think we kind of came to it of like the what next in midlife, right? So you're kind
mhm,
of in that season of what is my what next. And I
mhm,
think so many women, especially women, because they're typically the caregiver, who have been a caregiver primarily for the last 18, 19, 20
mhm,
years, whatever. um that's kind of what we're faced with in midlife, is what next, right?
mhm,
Who I was at 20, at 22, 23, whatever, is not who I am now.
mhm,
um so who am I? And
mhm,
giving ourselves the time
mhm.
and the space to figure it out. So yeah. um So we're all in that kind of season of what do we want to do with the rest of our lives?
Yeah.
um, but before kind of we get into that, I've never met a woman who had quadruplets. Uh, I, it, I it blew my mind. Like I couldn't wrap my head around how you do that. Um, so uh, kind of jumping in, I just love to hear your story a little bit. So what was life like raising quadruplets?
Right. Well, it was kind of like drinking from a fire hose.
I, sure, sure.
Yeah. There was definitely a steep learning curve for sure, but the absolute best adventure ever. And just, learning that plans change every day. Like you
Mm,
can make a plan, but really your day is going to evolve and sometimes like baking cookies could take all day and you have to be okay with that. So that was good for me to who likes to be productive and likes to check things off lists, like to
mm,
just really let go of that and just be present and be in the moment. And we had lots of great help from friends and family, and our church was absolutely amazing. But I remember feeling overwhelmed a lot and just made lots of mistakes. But I remember thinking, and I just felt like the Lord just made it clear to me that um, if I could just point them to Jesus and teach them how to hear his voice,
mm,
um, then the rest would just be figured out. Like they would recognize who's what is not his voice, and
mm.
by knowing his, right, the voice of the good shepherd. And so that's kind of what I tried to do through um, just teaching them through scripture and having relationship with him as much as possible. And the other thing I think, like knowing that I just couldn't do everything perfect, I knew that if I could just make them feel like they were loved and had a loved childhood, um, and just be, like I said, present for them, because it would be impossible for me to be everything to them in all ways all the time. Like it's just not possible. And so
Yeah,
that's where we needed a lot of Jesus, and just to try and love them well as best as I could, and my husband too, and then just launch them knowing that they've been loved, and they'll figure it out kind of from there with Jesus, hopefully. So
yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah. How? So when did you, in your pregnancy, when did you find out it was four?
I think it was around week 8. I had some breakthrough bleeding, and so I was sent for an ultrasound, and um, yeah, and the lady, I thought she was going all over my abdomen with the wand, and I thought, oh my goodness, she can't find a baby in there, and I said, "Oh, you must like there's no baby, isn't there?" And she said, "No, there's a baby. There's more than one." And I was like, "Oh no, is there twins?"
Oh my
And
goodness.
she said, "No."
Oh,
I was like, because they're not supposed to say,
right,
like, right?
right. They're not supposed to tell you. Yeah,
No, and my poor husband was waiting in the waiting room because he wasn't allowed to come in for the ultrasound, and yeah, and then she was like, "No," she held up 4 fingers, and I was like, "Oh my goodness." I laughed because I was just so so shocked and so amazed, like we prayed so hard for just one baby. I had a 15% chance of getting pregnant with one baby, and we had no idea if I'd be able to carry a baby or what. But God just was like, it was like, waking up on Christmas morning thinking, oh, I hope I get that one gift, right?
oh,
And here he had just blessed us with more than we could ever ask or imagine. So we were so grateful.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I feel in that moment you're either gonna laugh or cry. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
cried later.
I sure, like both at the
Yeah,
same who knows?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Do you have, multiples in your genetics?
So there's
Your
my
friends?
husband's family has twins, actually. Yeah. So
So somewhere along the way. Wow, that's
yeah,
amazing. It's amazing. Um, and so a part of your story of raising quadruplets is the hard season that you guys walked through of their health crisis.
yeah.
Um, so, when the health crisis hit your kids, what was your first sign that something like wasn't right? How did that play out?
Yeah, right. Well, we noticed there were some behavior and emotional changes in our one son that was just really out of character for him. He was just an easygoing kid, but in a space of probably about 6 or 8 months, we just noticed changes in him where he was having reactions that were just really outside the normal realm of emotion for him and things that never bothered him before. He also began experiencing different pain, nausea, neurological problems that were really uncharacteristic for his age and stage, and there was no other explanation for it. Um, and those symptoms just really began to grow and uh, um, and exacerbate as well. Doctors tried to help, but they could never seem to figure it out. Which at the time, the diagnostic system and deficit with Lyme disease at that time, they really could only help with focusing on helping the symptoms, but they really couldn't discern the cause or really address the cause in a way that was helpful.
Mhm.
So we just started praying for the truth of what was happening to our son to be revealed, and then God just really made it clear in his timing, and we were able to obtain diagnosis. Um, but his health was deteriorating so quickly that we knew we needed to get him help really fast. And so the Lord revealed a clinic in Florida to us through a friend. And so we had to step out in faith and just really go for it and take our family. And yeah, and it felt impossible. And when I look back, like we often talk about like that time, like it was impossible. There was impossible odds. We didn't have the money. We had to crowdfund, and it was just a really crazy time. But God, when He shows you the truth of what is happening and He shows you where to go, He will provide the way, and you just have to trust Him
Mhm.
with the outcome.
So it started with one son and then rapid deterioration. You found a clinic in Tampa. You went there. And then what
Mhm.
happened? What happened when you were in Tampa?
Yeah, so actually, before we left for Tampa, we recognized as we started learning, we recognized that it was Lyme, and we started learning and educating ourselves on what that looked like. And there is a cluster of like over 100 symptoms of how Lyme can manifest in any one person,
Wow.
and we started to recognize that actually one of our other sons also had already been experiencing symptoms for quite some time. And so we had to get him tested as well. And we just thought, how on earth are people going to believe us? Because this just is so crazy. But like I said before, we did a lot of camping, and our one son we knew had been bitten by a tick. We had pulled it out of his stomach. And but ticks can be so small that actually like they can be the size of a pinhead. So if like they're crawling around in your hair or something, you would never know. And I was never the mom at that time that was like, oh, like, don't get dirty. Like, if we wanted to lie down on the grass and look at the stars or look at the sky and the clouds, like, we would do that. And So it's hard to know how exactly every one of them became positive, but that was so for the second son, we realized before we left for Tampa that he was also going to need treatment, and that changed our fundraising needs. And then once we were down there for a few um, several weeks, we our daughter came to us one night and she was crying, and she yeah, she just said that God told her that she needed to come and tell us what was happening for her, and she started listing all the symptoms that she had had. They were all 10 years old at that time, and she had been so afraid to tell us what was happening because they were so afraid that, as they watched their brothers get sick, that maybe one of them would die, and they
Mm,
didn't want to also be sick and possibly die. And so, because Lyme is a fatal disease, it's a critical illness. And yeah, but God made a way for her to receive treatment as well. And um, the only way He can. And yeah, it's just, whew, it was quite a time and quite a walk of faith. But God was in all of it, and we didn't have the answers, and we just had to rely on Him, truly.
right. I mean, sure. And then your fourth child,
Mhm.
what happened? What happened with him? He wasn't diagnosed, or he was diagnosed?
So um, once we got to Tampa, we did have the other two, like our daughter and our third son, tested because they felt that that was appropriate. We thought that our daughter was asymptomatic, which means like no symptoms, because some people are able to have Lyme exist in their body, but their immune system is so good that it doesn't affect
Oh,
them.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, and so we we knew that our third son was also had been also diagnosed, but he was asymptomatic completely. And the doctor who was at the clinic, he was a Christian, and he said, I really believe that this is because that particular son of yours received so much prayer in utero, because he had, um, while he was in utero, about, oh, I have to look back, but I think it was around week 27, 28. He had been diagnosed as IUGR, which is an irreversible condition where the baby, unless it's delivered, will die in the uterus because the uterus becomes a hostile environment and they stop growing. And so during that particular crisis, while I was pregnant, we just would pray every night. And the Lord just showed us so clearly that we needed to trust Him. That baby B, his name is Eli, which means offering to the Lord. We needed to trust him, the Lord with him, and be parents to the other three to
Mm,
make sure we kept them all without delivering so early, because
sure.
that would put them at
Sure.
such big risks for brain bleeds or death or spina bifida or all kinds of things. So, yeah, so the church prayed, and friends and relatives prayed all over the world, and within I believe it was 2 weeks later when we had the growth scan, we just kept praying every day that his little heartbeat would keep on going. God just really started him growing again, and the doctors said um, we must have made a mistake, and we were able to say no, like this is what God can do. And so, and they had the scientific proof in their
Wow.
measurements. So,
Wow. Wow. Um, so powerful. Yeah. So powerful. This is the second time I've heard this, and I still am in awe of your story, and just so many layers to your story. Um, so wow. So what do you think was the hardest part of that season, that maybe people didn't see from the outside?
Right. There were lots of hard parts, because there was nothing we could do, like, um, to fix it. Um, and so I remember, just, laying on the carpet, my husband and I, like, just face down praying to God because we we were at the end of our rope. We had nothing and no one but him. Like, there were lots of people supporting and praying for us, but man, in those dark moments, like, there wasn't anybody we could call that could just go and fix it.
Yeah. Mm.
Um, and so and actually, like, the other thing that was really hard during that time, during that whole season, was there was some significant antagonism from the most unexpected sources that really made walking through that even more isolating and challenging.
Mm.
And so having to leave everything with the Lord, your reputation, your hopes for your kids, your dreams for your kids, your hopes and dreams for your own life. And um it just yeah, like when you get to the end of your rope is where Jesus begins. And just to be able to walk in forgiveness and keep trusting him and focusing on him.
Mm.
This is where, like, Proverbs 3 really, it's such a well-known little chunk of verses, but it really has wheels, if you use it.
Mm.
Like, if we trust in him and we acknowledge him in all our ways, he will make our path straight.
Yeah.
And so we just had to lean heavily on him and trust him
Mhm.
with all our heart, and just know that he was walking through us with us no matter where that path would lead.
Sure. Yeah. Yes. Having Yeah, praying for a miracle and then having to sit in your will be done, right?
Yeah,
Like, because you just don't know, right?
that's right.
You don't know the path that you're on. Yeah. Wow. Um, so I mean, what was an outlet you had for rest or reprieve? Like, how, when you were carrying so much, what did you use, or how did you get rest? How did that play out?
Yeah. Um, I think for us during that season, especially when we were in Florida, there was a women's Bible study at a local church that I went to, and those women just loved me like a sister. And so the ministry of the word and the body of Christ, you know, um, just refreshed my soul every week. Like, I think it was Wednesday nights. And that just helped so much. And my husband was so great. Like, he was like, yes, go, like, whatever happens tonight, I've got it until you get back. So I just really appreciated that. We also had, like, there was other moms at the clinic during that time that we just reconnected on so
Mhm.
many levels because of the common shared experience, right? And so that really helped to carry the load with our kids. And also, like, just leaning into spiritual practices. Like, yeah, there was um like, that is when you literally need to eat and drink from God's word because it gives you the nourishment and the strength that you need. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, um, how did you keep going on the days that you just didn't want to? There had days where you're just like, I cannot do this. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't have it. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're being honest with each other, right? Like honest with ourselves. So, like, in those days where you just don't want to keep going.
Yeah. Wow. That takes me back. I remember waking up crying actually. Um, and I remember just waking up and that realization, especially after we like got the diagnosis and things, and just the realization of knowing that like this is your life, and like you feel like it was just a nightmare that you had the night before, but you wake up and you remember that actually this is my lived experience right now. And your biggest worry you wish was just like, what am I going to make for supper? But now my biggest worry had become, uh is my son going to survive tonight? And um so during that time, the Lord just was like, uh, I would just imagine like putting everything into a box and just giving it to Him in the morning, and um, and trying not to take it back
Yeah.
during the day.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. Um, just recognizing that I needed His help. The other thing was, even while we were in Florida, like I posted scripture uh, on the bathroom door, and I would just pray that, because I needed that strength every day, and especially on those days. And there was like times too where just trying to be aware of disaster thinking and trying not to get ahead of myself.
Mm,
Like, oh, where is this going to go? But
sure.
rather just stay in the present and stay in the truth. Like the truth is they're really sick. The truth is we're getting help. The truth is I don't know what tomorrow holds. But the truth is that right now we're all alive and we're together and God is at work.
Mm,
And so there were also like, some trusted friends and family that we could call in those times and just be like, we just need prayer right now. There was one friend who, like, I remember she would just be available on Facebook, like Messenger. And like one night, I remember just reaching out to her and she was just like, I'm here, Deborah. Like, I'm praying.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah. So, He brings people into your path that
mm,
you need at that time. And also, the other thing that was really um, powerful and helpful during those times to make it through when it was just really hard, we started something called Feel Good Fridays
mm.
for our family. And our kids were on a really restrictive diet at that time. So, like, we tried to stay away from sugar in every form and different things, which is not easy for 10-year-olds.
Oh, there's not much.
And
There's not much left to
no,
eat. Yeah.
no, and it's just not fun, right?
Right.
And
Right.
gluten free back then was not what it is now. And um, so we had Feel Good Fridays. So Friday mornings, we would let them have hot chocolate.
Mm,
And a very dear friend of mine, she would always text me Friday mornings with a song, and it was our dance song for that morning. So we would wake up and we'd listen to the song and we'd dance and then we'd go have hot chocolate. So, it was just that mental uh reprieve
sure.
that we
Yeah.
all needed. Um, get the endorphins going with some great worship music and focus, and get the body moving in happy ways instead of
And have a
the hard
sweet
ways,
have
and
a
have a
sweet
sweet treat.
right. I
Yeah.
mean, have a sweet treat. They're kids who do. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
and capturing those memories to replace the hard memories. Right.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's like being a mom, right? um, how to make this situation as, you know, not easy, but just lighter, right? How do I show up for my kids? Yeah, it's just so beautiful. So,
Yeah, and when you have to think about the end in mind. Like, how are when they grow up, how are they going to manage hard times? Like,
yeah,
you have to do the things, but it's okay to have a measured reprieve and a measured something to help you get through.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
healthy. Like not a bad addiction kind of
sure.
situation, reprieve, medication, but a healthy one.
Mhm. Yeah. Wow. So you were there for a year?
Close to it, yeah.
Close to a
Not
year.
quite, yep.
And then you guys all moved home,
Mhm.
and then it was a long, still road of recovery. And
Mm,
in that time, you chose to homeschool all four kids.
that's
Yeah.
correct.
And you did not homeschool prior.
No, we
Okay.
did not.
Wow. Okay. So in talking about, in the what next of your life, so you've already been fully engaged, body, mind, soul, spirit, in their healing journey, and now in their academic journey too, right? So now you are fully in it. There is
Mhm.
no part of their life that you are not actively involved, right? Um, so from 10 to 18, you were their teacher.
That's correct, yes.
And what was that like?
Fully engaged, body, mind, and spirit, yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, again, just feeling completely, um, yeah, really out of my depth, but knowing that it was the best for them. And it just really, especially those first few years of recovery, there was a lot of remedial work that needed to be done because with Lyme disease, they had lost the ability to read and write and like even their own names and things like that. So we really had to do like start from the beginning. There was assessments and diagnoses that I really actually didn't communicate with them, but we just talked about things like what is our learning challenge in this and how is God going to help us to overcome it. And so just inviting him into our weakness and to just really help us through that. And so whether that was math, like, and helping all four of them at once, we also, we were able to, through homeschooling, we were able to get an EA, so an education assistant who would help us, which was such a gift. Um, but like just, yeah, the Lord just helping, okay, I can't get to you right now. I'm helping this person. So just ask Jesus like to help you right now and help him to remind you. And then by the time I got to them, they were like, "Oh, I'm good, mom. Like I got it." And so, but it also gave us those times, that freedom on those moments where, trauma showed up and
Mm,
revisited uh and we were able to just put the brakes on and take some time to process and heal and get, you know, uh, counseling and help and do piano lessons and just kind of try to cultivate healthy processes while we healed and while we learned together again how to be a family in a healthy situation. And one of those gifts too was just getting outside and being able to go skiing as a family
mm,
on a local ski hill, to be able to have fun as a family because so
sure,
much of our family time had been centered around um, illness. And
sure.
so to stand on the top of a mountain, and thank God that we could stand on the top of a mountain together, all
Together.
healthy and alive. So, yeah, so that was just a process of walking through that as they healed and got into high school. They had more online classes, and so that was a real blessing too. They continued to want to homeschool even though they were given the option to return to brick and mortar. But by that time, they were able to kind of pursue their individual interests more through homeschooling,
Yeah.
and they just really overcome so many challenges with God's help because you know, we were told several occasions that we should adjust our expectations. They would not graduate. We should focus on life skills. And, you know, each one of those kids worked so hard, and Jesus did so much. And they all graduated with honors and are all pursuing university degrees. So it's really a
It's
testimony to what God
miraculous.
can do.
It's miraculous. It's
Yeah.
truly miraculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. I I mean, and as for you, we are kind of like the mediator for our kids, and we have to manage ourselves and them, right? Because
Yeah.
they're not emotionally equipped to handle all of this, right? So
Hmm.
so when you hear things like from doctors saying, manage your expectations, you know, we're focused on life skills. So you're hearing all that, and then you have to filter all that and then show up for your kids in a way that is ministering to them. Like that's so much management. So much management. Yeah. And then, you're married and then you have a husband,
Yeah.
right? Like, let's throw
Yeah.
that in, right? So it's, um,
Yeah.
yeah, there's so much. Wow. So,
Yeah.
so 18, you launched them to university. Amazing. They're all are they juniors right now then? Would they be
So
juniors?
they all kind of launched at different times.
Okay.
My our daughter, she had some ongoing health challenges that showed up in around grade 9, that she just felt she needed to take an extra year. One of our other sons went to YWAM,
Oh,
and took some time to kind of figure out better where he felt God was leading him. And so they all kind of launched at different. We have one in fourth year, we have one in third year, two in third year, and one in second year. So
okay. Yeah.
yeah, so they broke us in slowly.
They-
Yeah.
yeah. Or although, well, anyway, financially, yeah, gosh, having all four at university at the same time, I don't even know how that's possible.
Yeah, so that's something too where we just like we were very clear with the kids. We have nothing because of the financial devastation we went through. Um when we went when around the same time as their health crisis,
Mhm.
we were just not able to provide any help with their schooling. And so we taught them how to work and get jobs. And we prayed, and we would, as they did job or university applications, we would sit on the couch and pray with them and say, like, Lord, if this is where we're meant to go, would you provide a way? And would you help us with scholarships? Would you help us with bursaries? Would you help us, you know, to find steady work?
Yeah.
God just he has provided for them in like so many ways, and he just continues to show up, and like the growth of having seen how God provided for them when they were sick, that has helped their faith to
Sure.
believe that even now they can trust.
Sure. Sure. In remembrance of
Mhm.
he met me there. Why wouldn't he meet me here? Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
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 No, yeah. So, wow. Okay. So all four kids are launched to university. And now you're in this what next season of, I feel like there must be a time or of just like, right. A time where you just feel like I need to rest,
Mhm.
whatever that looks like, however you define rest to be. Um, so do you feel like that's kind of where you're at right now is rest, renewal, rediscover?
Yeah, I think those 3 R's are probably a really good way to describe it for sure. Um, just recognizing that, we've launched these kids and recognizing that I've launched into a new season also,
Yeah.
and that it's okay to take some time and be curious and just explore where God is leading next, and yeah, and try to figure out what rest looks like.
Right.
Because as moms, we're just wired to be productive all the time, and that rest doesn't necessarily mean like sitting and doing nothing, um, but a practice of rest and just I would say a leaning into um, to what God is really asking of me and trying to speak to me in that
Yeah.
in this new season,
Yeah.
and so and yeah, and just what is and to be like more disciplined, I guess. Like there might be not be physical output that's measurable, but um what is the internal inventory that he's wanting to do and recalibrate in this season?
Yeah. And giving yourself permission to take that time, to take
Yeah.
that time of rest, renewal, and rediscovery, right?
Hmm.
Figuring out what does rest look like and what do I need, and
Hmm.
yeah. I think sometimes, like you said, moms need to be feel needing to be productive and whatever that means.
Yeah.
And but yeah, giving yourself that time to just breathe, breathe,
Yeah.
rest, and
Yeah.
who am I now, right?
Exactly. And I
Who am
think
I
just recognizing too that experience and giftedness like doesn't have an expiry date.
now?
Um, that there's still places for us to show up and
Yeah.
contribute
Mhm.
in this season, and realizing that we've got our own pair of shoes and we can show up in them
Mhm.
more comfortable maybe than we have felt in years, because we're used to kind of showing up for others, but there's a
Mhm.
place for us to show up too in our own shoes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're better equipped even now than we were 20 years ago. So,
Oh, yes. Yes, 100%. So what have you I mean, gosh, in all this, what have you learned about yourself entering this, like, what next season?
wow. Well, what have I learned about myself? Um, a lot of those things, like just that I need to uh, just kind of reevaluate, and that it's good to take this time and space to examine and discern, and that I've learned that it's hard for me to just rest and not feel like I need to be productive. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
And it's a mindset shift, I think, in that because true rest after such a long season of work, right?
mhm.
Loving work, but
Yeah.
work
Yeah.
could be productive.
Hmm.
So how can you reframe rest into no, this could be a season of productivity and whatever way comes after it, right? So I think it's important to think about like that too, of reframing how we feel rest is, right? The point of rest.
Yes, absolutely. Like, to be able to look at it, like you said, as a reset,
Yeah.
um, as a what can I be leaning into now in this season? What what activities or things have I kind of laid down that I can pick up now in this season
Hmm.
that actually bring great joy to me? What do I have time for that I haven't had time for
Sure.
um, before? And that's not to just fill the time, but to really be able to show up in different ways or new ways, um, and bringing all the things with you, your experience and your knowledge that you've learned along the way.
So in this season of rest, renewal, and rediscovery, uh, what are some ways that help you filter or process those like midlife possibilities? Like what could be possible? How do you filter those?
Yeah, so I really have just been leaning into spiritual practices,
Mhm.
um, and spiritual disciplines. Um, Exodus 33:13 has really framed this season for me, um, which is like, teach me your ways that I may know you. Moses talks to God about that. So praying, fasting, reading, journaling, resting, connecting. Um, so that's one. Getting curious and taking inventory on what I've learned and grown in this last season. There's a book by Joanna Meyer that was really helpful to me. It's called Women, Work, and Calling.
Mm.
Um, that really helped me to reflect on things that inspire me, take an evaluation of what I'm good at. How can I be a good steward of what God has placed me in for this next season? And what is He preparing me for? What do I need to be prepared? Like, what do I need to do to be prepared?
Sure.
Um, and yeah, just also discerning, I think, with trusted friends, who are who are willing to kind of call you out and call you up. Um, on things that maybe you're not really seeing that you're good at, or like new things that they really see in you,
Mhm.
in this season, and just kind of finding yourself in the gospel, like speaking the gospel to yourself. Like what has been dormant that God wants to breathe life into and bring back to life. Um, because it's been there all along. It's not like you've lost yourself.
Mm.
It's been there, but you've been building on that, and you've been maturing and growing in this season, and so there's still life there, but what does God want to bring to the surface, and what maybe just needs to stay in the grave, right? So
Wow. Yeah. Discerning both. Discerning
yeah,
both.
yep,
Yeah. What doesn't serve me anymore? Maybe what
that's right.
served me in the past but doesn't serve me anymore, and being okay with letting go. Maybe
Hmm.
if it's hard, and that could, because I mean, that could be anything. That could be a relationship, right? That could be
Yes.
anything. So yeah, so it's both. What do you
Yep.
want from me forward, and what do you not want for me anymore? Right? Like,
Exactly.
yeah. Wow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think culture tells women that we have to do everything all at once, or we're falling short, or we're allowing men to usurp authority.
Mhm.
But that's not the truth. Um,
Mhm.
the truth is that God made our lives to live in season with Him.
Mm.
And there's beauty and growth in all of it, but we just have to really open our eyes and observe and listen to Him to see what He is calling out of us in that in that time. You
Sure.
know, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that I was just talking about this actually with a friend yesterday. And she said, "Yeah, this is her wisdom. It's not mine, but it was such a good point. Like the Proverbs 31 woman, uh, I'm pretty sure she didn't do all the things all at once.
At the
Like,
same time, yes. Yes.
like I think that's a list of lifetime, you know, and we have to be okay with that."
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yes. And embrace it, because who wants to do all that at the same time?
Amen.
My
Absolutely, it's
God.
impossible.
So I ask all of my guests this a version of this question. What advice would you give another mom who poured herself out for years and now feels unsure of what's next?
Right. I think I would say just to slow down and evaluate and discern. Um, Discern with those who know you best,
Mhm.
and um, those who are trusted and have walked with you through your growth and your failures. Um, Another thing, to just journal and renew your mind with scripture. This is how, for me, easier to identify the lies that I'm believing or that
Mhm.
are holding me back. And especially in this season, like you're too old or you missed
Yep.
your window of opportunity or,
Mhm.
you know, there's really not a place for you here in this space or, whatever those lies are that you need to replace with the gospel. And again,
Yep.
just returning to the gospel, like what is God breathing life into you and then do it.
Mhm.
And um what is he resurrecting and what needs to be left in the grave, like what we talked about before. I think God has a unique calling for each of us.
Yeah.
And as we grow and mature, we're arriving exactly where we need to be in each season, um, with the things that he's grown in us, and we need to trust him to lead us, bringing all that learning and growth
Mhm.
to do whatever is next. And I mean, really, like when you think about the people in the Bible, um, you think of Abraham and Moses and Rahab and Esther and um, David and Paul, and they showed up with all that they were, and all their learnings, all their mistakes, and all their giftings in whatever moment God was calling them forward to do what he had called them to do. And so I think to just be curious about what is the full cumulative expression of who I am, that God needs me to be right now, and and put our shoes on and show up in that way.
Put our shoes on. I like that. I like that. Well, Deborah, thank you so much for being willing to come on the show and share your powerful, incredible story. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me, Marie. It's
Yeah,
been
it's
a
been,
joy.
yeah.